What is up, you guys? Welcome to another episode of the Disney freaking catalog. As you can see, I don't have my co-host Skyler here. He is feeling a little under the weather, so your boy is going to take over as host, single host. And then we have producer Nick.
Hey.
Say hi, Nick.
Hello, Nick.
Use the ba-dun-ts.
Hello, Nick.
Did it at the same time as you. So we're talking Avengers Age of Ultron. Now, this movie is mixed. I love it, but it took me a couple tries to really get myself into it. It's so good, but this is probably hands down the weakest Avengers movie. I didn't like. We'll get into that. So I'm going to start doing a little synopsis. Well, not a synopsis, kind of like a breakdown of the film before we get into it. Maybe stir up some stuff that I forgot or you guys forgot. So, Avengers Age of Ultron begins in Eastern European country of Sokovia. The Avenger team of Tony Stark, Steve Rogers, Thor, Bruce Banner, Natasha Romanoff, and Clint Barton raid Baron Wolfgang von Strucker's Hydra outpost. He's been busy experimenting with Loki's captured scepter on the humans. The Avengers come across two of those experiments in the Maximoff twins. Pietro has superhuman speed, and Wanda has a telekinetic ability she uses to manipulate minds. Rogers nabs Strucker in the raid as Tony goes after the scepter. However, Wanda is able to implant a vision of a terrible future in his mind. Back at Avengers Tower, Stark and Banner discover an artificial intelligence housed in the Scepter's gem. They secretly decided to use it for Stark's Ultron global defense program. However, once they leave for a party, the program comes to life. When Ultron wakes up, he believes that he must destroy humanity to save the Earth. Ultron takes out Stark's AI Jarvis and uploads himself into one of Stark's Iron Legion robots to attack the Avengers after a party. He then leaves with the scepter in hand and goes to Strucker's Sokovia base to upgrade his own body and build an army of robot drones. Once there, he first kills Strucker and then recruits the Maximoff twins to help him with this plan. It's easy to convince them to help, as the twins believe Stark is responsible for their parents' death after the weapons his company made were used to kill them. The three then find an arms dealer named Ulysses Claw at an African shipyard to pick up some Wakandan vibranium. The Avengers tail them there, but Wanda is able to implant her own. Why am I struggling with this? Implant her own haunting visions into everyone's mind except for Stark and Barton. Banner's vision causes him to turn into the Hulk, and he begins rampaging through a nearby city until Stark can stop him in some Hulk-busting armor. That is cool. This results in worldwide backlash over against the team. They go into hiding at Barton's safe house. There, they meet his wife and children for the first time. His family was previously unknown to all of them except for Romanoff. Thor soon leaves to meet with Dr. Eric Selvig on the meaning of the apocalyptic future in his vision. Romanoff and Banner, who are mutually attracted to one another, discuss the feasibility of leaving the team to be together. Soon, Nick Fury shows up and convinces them all to stop being pussies and fight back to stop Ultron. It's literally what it says. Ultron heads to Seoul to force Dr. Helen Cho to use her synthetic tissue technology in combination with the vibranium and the Scepter's gem to create a new body for him. While Ultron is distracted uploading himself into his new synthetic body, Wanda takes the time to read his mind. She discovers his plan to destroy all humanity. The Maximoffs decide to turn on Ultron. I'm going to turn on Ultron. They join forces with Steve Rogers to form a distraction while Romanoff and Barton steal his synthetic body. Unfortunately for the Avengers, Ultron captures Romanoff. Barton reluctantly abandons her and Ultron's body back to the Avengers Tower. Rogers and the twins soon show up without Romanoff too. That made no sense. Anyway, as the Avengers take the time to argue amongst themselves, Stark finds Jarvis hiding in the internet and uploads him to Ultron's synthetic body, becoming the Vision. Thor returns in the nick of time to help activate the body. He reveals that the gem on Vision's forehead is one of 6 Infinity Stones, the most powerful objects in the universe, or if you watch Loki, paperweights. The Vision proves his worthiness to the team when he lifts Thor's hammer. He and the Maximoff twins head back to Sokovia with the Avengers. Ultron is there to use the remaining vibranium to build a machine that is able to lift a large part of the capital city into the sky. He intends to crash it into the ground and cause a global extinction. Banner is able to rescue Romanoff, and she then pushes him into a pit to turn him into the Hulk for the upcoming battle. The Avengers take on Ultron's army as Fury shows up in a helicarrier with Maria Hill, War Machine, and several other SHIELD agents to help evacuate the civilians. Meanwhile, they task Wanda to keep Ultron's drones from activating the machine. When Ultron manages to steal the Avengers' Quinjet, he uses it to stop the evacuation. Pietro sadly dies from shielding Barton from Ultron's gunfire. Then the Hulk leaps into the Quinjet and forcibly removes Ultron from it, seeking vengeance for her brother's death. Wanda abandons her post to destroy Ultron's body. Unfortunately, one of his drones manages to activate the machine. The city plummets to the earth, but Stark and Thor are the first to overload the machine and destroy the massive piece of land. The Vision swoops in to rescue Wanda before she's killed. The Hulk sets out on the Quinjet to go into hiding, abandoning Banner's dream of living happily ever after with Romanoff. The Vision then cleans up by destroying Ultron's last remaining body. The Avengers soon set up a new base in which Fury, Hill, Cho, and Selvig will run. Barton returns home to his family. Thor returns to Asgard to learn more about the shadowy figures manipulating recent events behind the scenes, and Stark leaves the team maybe forever. Rogers and Romanoff begin training a new team of Avengers comprised of James Rhodes, the Vision, Falcon, and Wanda. Last but not least, in the mid-credit scene, Thanos is tired with the lack of progress in obtaining the Infinity Stones. He slides into the Infinity Gauntlet and vows to take the stones from himself. There's your long-ass synopsis for Avengers Age of Ultron. Now, Nick, what do you think about the movie?
Like you said earlier, I had mixed feelings when it first came out because they did this right around the time when Avengers Age of Ultron came out as a comic book.
Oh, that's right.
So in my head, it was like, oh man, this is going to be crazy. It's basically the death of the Avengers almost. So when it came out, it was very different for me. And so I think my first watch, I was like, well, all right, that was way less climactic than the comic book.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't know. After watching it a little more and after it being the, like later on when you see more movies and how it was, it
connected.
It's a very pivotal movie. Like all the Avengers movies are, but I think that's when I gained the appreciation for it.
Yeah, I agree with that. Like you said, well, I said at the top of the show, you know what's funny is I got such bad jet lag when I went to Scotland that I was like down for the count for like 2 days, just sleeping. And I remember watching Age of Ultron in our hostel and just being like, what the hell? What was I looking at before I watched this? Like, this is a good movie. I will tell you that the comic was not that good. Only because it took, like, they went back in time to like make sure Ultron didn't happen because it was Dr. Hank Pym instead of Tony Stark who did it. Which before the movie came out, we were excited. We were like, "Oh shit, we're getting Ant-Man." Nope.
Yeah, it was very like in the same sense. Like the comic was also anticlimactic because it was like a cop out how they solved it.
But it started off cool because
I know. Great premise. Like the storyline was super cool. But
it's like, don't they get Wolverine and they take him back to this like, and they name off all the Avengers who have like died.
Yeah.
And then like it gets really brutal because Avengers start dying like left and right.
Crazy. Yeah, it's basically Logan's like the last person left.
Yeah, and then he goes back in time with who? Was it Black Widow?
I don't know. It's been years since I've read it.
I know. I sold them. Yeah, I sold all of them.
I still have it somewhere.
I still have number 10 in the little baggie just in case it got. Because when the movie came out, we were like, oh, dude, our comics are gonna go so high up.
Yeah.
They went up $1. But as far as the movie, I do like that we're starting to get new Avengers like introduced, like what I said before with the end scene. Like you get a new set of Avengers,
and ultimately you get mutants in a sense.
Yeah, with Wanda, which the guy, there's this guy, and he played a very small role in Black Widow. You saw Black Widow, right?
Yeah.
You remember that big guy that David Harbour's character? He like breaks his arm.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, that guy was actually a character. I cannot remember. We said it a couple podcasts ago.
The bear, right?
Yeah, the bear. And he was like, "Oh, I'm the first mutant." And we're like, "No, you're not." Wanda is.
Yeah.
And Pietro. Stupid. And plus, he got killed by a goddamn avalanche. So you're not getting anything in here anytime soon. Okay, that was overall. Let's talk about our specific likes. Is there any scenes that come to mind that you're like, "Oh, hell yeah"?
Scenes. I mean the top one that comes to mind for this movie is when Ultron comes out in his body. Like that.
Yeah,
it's he sings, right?
He's like, "I got no strings."
Yeah.
Or something like that.
Who's the actor?
James Spader.
Yeah, James Spader.
Yeah.
Great job. But
his freaking voice, man.
Yeah, and on that, just to me, when I saw that scene, I was like, wow, that really hits. Like,
yeah,
they really did a really good job of building that up to be like, oh, we're all good, and then boom, he comes out, and it's like scary, almost.
Well, for people that haven't like read the comics or anything, they're like, that's Ultron?
Right.
And then you like, when he gets his vibranium suit, he's like freaking yoked with like red eyes. I'm like, okay, that is scary.
Yeah, so that scene was a specific for me. That one was like, that one, when I saw it, even when I see it now, it still like moves me, like, because like I said, they built it up all the way to that point where it's like we're all in the clear, and then they set that scene up so nicely.
I know.
And his voice and everything, and like the lines, and everybody's stunned. The whole Avengers is just like, oh shit.
And then like Tony Stark and Bruce are like, oops.
Yeah, so yeah, that one to me, that's a big one.
Do you have anything else?
Pietro's death.
Yeah, that was rough.
Yeah, so seeing that one, that
sucked because I wanted to see more of him.
I did,
and I thought we were getting that in WandaVision, and then it was Dick Boner or Ralph Boner.
Honestly, you still could.
But you're right.
Who knows? But yeah, those two to me stuck out.
Aaron Taylor Johnson is Kraven the Hunter now, so
Right.
So we'll see. For me, there's 3 or 4. I love the scene where they're all trying to lift Thor's hammer.
Yeah,
that was awesome.
Yeah.
And then Steve like jiggles it a little bit, and you see Thor go, and then like he can't, and he's like, oh. I think the long story short, none of you are worthy. You know what? The fun fact, and this isn't in the facts, the reason why Natasha says, no, I'm not going to try it, is because she's worthy in the comics.
Yeah.
Hilarious. Another scene was the Ultron, and I love how when they introduce Vision, they bring him back to Avengers Tower, like he's rallying everybody up to go like stop Ultron. He just hands Thor his hammer, and everybody's like, okay, now we trust this guy.
Yeah. I mean, that one too. Yeah. That's a great scene too. Yeah. When Vision comes, you're like, because Vision's a very big deal in the comics too.
Very big deal. So, he was what? Oh, Age of Ultron. He was the source of the power.
Yeah. So
he was like trapped.
Yeah. Seeing Vision come to life, or even just, I remember seeing the movie and thinking like, oh, Jarvis is a person now.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like that's that, along with the fact that it's Vision. Very cool moment.
Yeah, and then you like slowly start seeing how OP he is.
Yeah.
Like he has like with this fucking freaking Mind Stone. Just it looks like Superman's heat vision. Another one is the one that got me real pumped is when like Wanda's like scared, and Clint Barton is like, "Listen, I'm here because it's my job." He's like, as soon as you walk out that door, you're an Avenger. And she just don't.
Yeah.
And then what's one more? I like all the visions like that Wanda puts in their brains.
Yeah, those are cool.
Because it sets up Ragnarok. It sets up Cap going back in time, and it sets up the death of the Avengers, and you see Cap's shield broken just like in Endgame.
Which to me, when I saw the movie, that was more like what I was expecting the movie to do.
Yeah.
But like you're saying, great scenes.
Yeah. And then last but not least, the Hulkbuster fight was rad. So sick. I think that's it. Now, stuff that wasn't so good.
Wasn't good. You start.
Okay. I think the party was kind of cheesy.
Mm-hmm.
Like he was like Stan Lee getting fricked up. He's like, this comes from aged for 42,000 years. This is not for mortar men. He's like, I fought in Omaha. What, Blondie? I'm like, okay. Another one that I wasn't too keen on was the whole interaction with Ulysses Claw. I felt like that was unnecessary, I guess. I don't know. I'm trying to reach here.
Yeah, because I mean that's the thing with this one. It's
because I had problems with it before, but I can't remember why.
Yeah, I know, and that's what I'm thinking because, like I said, I had different expectations, so that was my problem with it before.
Yeah, that's right.
And now that I watch it again, I like the movie.
Yeah.
And so I don't have a ton of like bad ones. Like even stuff that you could be like, that was really cheesy. Like when Quicksilver's like running around and like
did not see that coming.
Yeah, stuff like that, super cheesy.
We do have a soundbite from the movie.
Oh, we do the
language.
Yep,
that's solid.
I just broke my mind.
But stuff like that, you could call it cheesy, but then in my head, I'm just like, honestly, that's what Marvel does in their movies. That it brings the comic book aspect into it.
Yeah, that's true. Okay, so I like it for future jokes because it's so cringy that it's hilarious.
Yeah.
Where she's like, all right, big guy, sun's getting real low.
Right.
And Thor does that in Ragnarok. He's like, all right, big guy, sun's real low. Boom! And he gets freaking thrown. I'm trying to pick something out.
It's harder now because they included, like I said, very pivotal movie for the rest of the Marvel Cinematic Universe.
Yeah.
So at the time, probably had a bunch of different plot holes that we wanted to pick apart and all this stuff.
Yeah.
But they did such a good job at tying up loose ends later on in the subsequent movies that they released.
Yeah, because that's the one that starts off the Sokovia Accords.
Yeah, stuff like that. Like you could have picked this movie apart probably a lot easier.
Yeah.
Then versus now.
But I think you and me are more along the lines of we thought it was going to be something different.
Right.
Because we had just read the whole 10-part series, and then they announced that was the title, and we're like, oh, frick yeah. The Wolverine.
Yeah, we thought we were going to get a
what
bunch
the
of
hell?
stuff. What's going to happen?
I know. But this was the movie around the same time I started posting news on our old website, because I remember when Aaron Taylor Johnson and Elizabeth Olsen got cast as the twins. And then they're in the end scene of Winter Soldier. Mm-hmm. But that pretty much does it. It always happens when I get off the podcast, I'll find something that I was like, oh, I should have talked about that. But let's go into some facts for y'all. Okay, so James Spader was Joss Whedon's first and only choice for Ultron because of his hypnotic voice that can be eerily calm and compelling, while also being very human and humorous.
Which definitely
hit the nail on the head.
Yeah.
That's so crazy. He's like, Disney little taste.
You just can't. Perfect cancer.
Yeah.
Casting.
Strings. They are. No, what's the ending line of it? He's like, they're gonna be afraid of you.
Strings on me.
Well, no, when he like changes his conscience into another like broken robot at the end,
right?
And he's like, they're all gonna be afraid of you. He's like, well, I was born yesterday. And just destroys him. I would love to see Ultron come back as like a. Well, no, he is coming back in What If.
Oh yeah.
It's like Mega Ultron or something like that. It's like if he would have succeeded, I think.
Right.
That should be cool. On James Spader's first day on set, the cast was so impressed by his performance that they applauded and cheered for him on his first take.
Wow.
And this is something else that I knew beforehand, was because James Spader, he did all the motion capture, but he has that big ball on his head, so they will look up so they can, accurately put his height in. Elizabeth Olsen was saying like she had to do so many takes because she would watch James Spader's performance instead of using the little ball.
I would too.
Yeah, I was like, everybody's like when he's sitting in the chair like this. You don't remember that? Where the twins come in and he's just like, so.
His little throne that he built.
Yeah. Aaron Taylor Johnson was asked to lose weight, muscle mass in particular, because he looked too strong to play a runner, who is usually pretty trim. Joss Whedon has said that he wanted both Spider-Man and Captain Marvel. I knew the Captain Marvel part. I did not know he wanted Spider-Man to appear in the final sequence, but they were unable due to timing issues.
Well,
but that was before
and probably legality issues.
Yeah, because this came out in No. It was 2015 that said that Spider-Man was coming into the cinematic universe.
Yeah, but we didn't see him until the next Avengers movie.
And not really. We saw him in Captain America: Civil War, which technically is a freaking Avengers movie.
Right.
James Spader uses his natural speaking voice for Ultron with no accent or alteration to his voice at all.
Why change it?
Oh, God. Dude, he's freaking intimidating on The Office.
Yeah,
he's like, everything's about sex. Don't you agree, Jim?
That's his voice.
He's just like, and then like there's a talking head. He's like, I think he's too overqualified for this job. The scene where Ultron commands his drones to fly down and latch themselves onto the truck in Seoul took 360 days to complete.
What?
It was handled by only one animator.
Oh my God.
Who, upon completion of the scene, received a party and a bottle of champagne for his efforts. Not worth it.
Wow.
Dude, that is, oh man. And I get annoyed at me if my editing for the podcast takes more than an hour.
Yeah.
Like, I'm over it. I'm not putting in any more fun stuff.
Oh my God.
That's crazy. James Spader was originally just going to be Ultron's voice, but he told the filmmakers that for a main character, he deserved to do more than provide a voice. So he took on performing Ultron through motion capture. Of course.
Which is great.
I would have, if Marvel shouldn't even put that on the table, like, you're going to do motion capture.
Right.
It was crazy. Chris Evans and Chris Hemsworth have stated in separate interviews that Joss Whedon initially hadn't told them the arc of the plot, with Evans claiming that he didn't even know the title of the movie until the official announcement at Comic-Con. Additionally, Hemsworth and Colby Smulders both have admitted not knowing who Ultron is.
Nice.
I mean, I only found out who Ultron was the year before. I guess he appeared in a comic book way back in the day.
Yeah, because I don't think up until those comics, Age of Ultron, like that's really when the bulk of Ultron hits you.
Yeah. I'm going to see.
Because otherwise it's like, if you think about like robotic evil villains, you think of Sentinels with X-Men.
Get out of here, evildoer. Yeah, he appeared in Avengers number 55 in 1968.
Doing kind of the same thing, or
pretty much. During the Silver Age of comic books, Ultron has since been featured. Oh, that doesn't make sense. Let's try the 60s. So the character is disguised for the majority of the issue, only face revealed. Future flashbacks reveal that Ultron is Hank Pym's creation. So even back in the 60s, it was Hank Pym's creation. Ultron then hypnotizes and brainwashes his father into forgetting that the robot had ever been existed. Oh, that's baller. Who are you? Good. Thank you. Yeah, so he just comes back. I think that's the thing. Like, has the same powers as he does before, but he just keeps getting new bodies every time he gets destroyed.
Yeah. That
is so annoying for the Avengers.
Right.
Okay, so where's those facts? Okay. Elizabeth Olsen and Aaron Taylor Johnson consulted each other before accepting the roles of Scarlet Witch and Quicksilver. The two became friends while filming Godzilla. As soon as they found out that they both had offers, they called each other to check what the other was doing. Check if the other one was doing it before signing on. That's cool.
Yeah, that's kind of cool.
Bruce Banner's creation that houses the extra Hulkbuster parts, Veronica, is named that as an inside joke based on the Archie comics. Archie Andrews is always torn between two women that love him, Betty and Veronica. Banner already had a girlfriend, Betty Ross, so the armor was named Veronica, as a contrast to Banner's alternate personality, the Hulk.
Interesting.
What the frick?
That's deep.
That is real deep. Joss Whedon's like, I don't know what that meant. Sure. Quicksilver's running visual effects were created by first filming at ultra high camera speed and then filming Aaron Taylor Johnson running in the same scene at regular speed and then digitally splicing the two scenes together. I would have thought that they just did that in post.
Yeah.
That sucked for the freaking editor. I have the running scene. Where's the fast one? His assistant editor's like, I'm sorry.
Hold on.
I got it. Shit, I posted it on YouTube. When Elizabeth Olsen and Aaron Taylor Johnson learned their roles, Wanda and Pietro would be based off of their Marvel Ultimate versions. They both read and studied every single issue in order to prepare for the role. That is how it's done, ladies and gentlemen. Yeah. Elizabeth Olsen worked with a dance choreographer to make her movements more graceful for action sequences. It's cool. At some points, the Abomination was going to be the antagonist in the movie, or a secondary villain, and Tim Roth would have reprised his role from the Incredible Hulk movie. However, the Abomination was written out for a bit. Well, yeah, no shit. He is coming back in She-Hulk, Abomination, and we saw him in Shang-Chi. Oh. He's in the trailer, so I could talk about that. Yeah. The movie has the most visual effects shot for any Marvel movie to date, with over 3,000, previously held by Guardians of the Galaxy with a record of 2,750. That's crazy. Avengers Age of Ultron is the first time in the Marvel Cinematic Universe that Thor appears in a movie without Loki. Tom Hiddleston did a film... what? That doesn't make sense. He was in there without Loki in Guardians.
Wait, who?
That Thor... Oh, I'm an idiot. Avenger Age of Ultron is the first time in the Marvel Cinematic Universe that Thor...
Okay.
Not Thanos, appears in a movie without Loki. Tom Hiddleston did film a scene reprising Loki, but was ultimately cut from the final version, as Joss Whedon felt it didn't play well with the movie as a whole. I mean, I don't think it would have broke or made the movie.
Yeah.
Joss Whedon described Ultron as a perfect villain for the Avengers. He's got a bee in his bonnet, and he's always trying to destroy the Avengers. He's not a happy guy, which means that he's an interesting guy. He got pain. Why does he sound like... Yo, he got pain, bro. He got a bee in his bonnet. Shit. Hawkeye's new uniform combines elements of the original Marvel comic outfits, his Ultimate Marvel outfit, and his Ronin identity, which we eventually get.
Yeah.
The movie marks the first cinematic universe appearance of Tony Stark without Pepper Potts, with an exception of his cameo in The Incredible Hulk. Okay. In the Avengers, Bruce Banner is shown becoming the Hulk, but is never shown converting back to Banner. In Avengers Age of Ultron, Banner is never shown becoming the Hulk, but is shown reverting back to Banner. Okay. That's weird.
Yeah.
Elizabeth Olsen stated in an interview that she is happy that her character's outfit isn't accurate to the comic book, as it would be inappropriate for combat.
Yeah, I mean, of course.
Yeah, you're not going to fight in like a ride-up leotard.
One of those weird face... Like, what's she wear usually? It's like a face mask.
Yeah, it goes like an... It's based off of Magneto, because that's her dad.
Yeah, it's just odd. I mean...
But we do get it in WandaVision, and it looks really cool. It's like the little one.
Yeah.
So it's not like
It's
huge.
not the comic book.
Yeah. Oh, this is funny. The first word spoken in the movie by an Avenger is shit.
Oh, it is.
Shit.
Language.
Did he just say language? Sorry, habit. Approximately 200 German small-town movie theaters boycotted the movie upon its release after Disney announced that they demanded 53% of ticket sales as movie rent, without taking into account that the smaller sizes of the town venues. Dicks.
Wow.
No wonder she's in a lawsuit, guys. ScarJo. Joss Whedon wanted to get a number of different looks, textures, and moods to give the movie a different and fresh aesthetic from its predecessor. So he shot in different locations around the world, including South Africa, England, Italy, and South Korea. Last but not least, to keep production a secret, the working title for the movie was After Party.
After Party?
Yeah. Cool. All right, guys, that does it for this week's episode of Age of Ultron. Or what? The Disney Catalog with Age of Ultron. I want to say the next movie up is Ant-Man.
After Age of Ultron.
Yeah, I think it's Ant-Man. It kicks off phase 3.
Yeah, I think so.
Okay, cool. We have episode 58 of the DisInsider Show up now. You guys are watching this on a Friday, or if you're listening on a Thursday. We have our interview with Dave Bassett on the YouTube. It comes out tomorrow. Well, the 30th. I don't want to say tomorrow because you guys aren't going to listen to this until Friday or Thursday. But other than that, I think that we're going to call it a day. So hit me with that outro, buddy. We'll see you guys later.